another lawyer, yourself, as the chief legal anchor on ABC, could you answer the $1,000,000 question? How do you see the Robert Mueller probe ending?
So I think that there are a few sort of, the basic questions on the Mueller investigation. I think on number one, I don't think he's going to seek to indict the president. I think he's going to at least abide by the Department of Justice guidelines as they've been interpreted the 2 times in recent memory, both Nixon in 2000 when they were assessed and determined that he's not going to seek to indict a sitting president, no matter what he thinks about whether a crime has been committed or not. I don't think he's going to subpoena Trump, which would cause a real showdown. I think that...
And what's your reasoning? What's your reasoning?
So typically in a federal investigation, witnesses are subpoenaed to testify. And what you'll do as a lawyer will talk to the prosecutors and say, is my client a target? Because if the client's a target, of course they're not going to agree, and they're not going to force him to go take the fifth in front of a grand jury. Federal prosecutors don't just engage in it for the point of the theater, right? If your client is the target being investigated, you don't ask them to come into the grand jury to invoke their Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. And so a subject, it's something called a target, a subject, which is kind of a blurrier thing, and a witness. And, look, it's pretty clear that Trump is something of a subject/target. And as a result, I don't think that they're going to subpoena him. He's never going to do an interview. He was never going to do an interview from the beginning. I've been saying that on TV for 6 months. And I don't think he's going to be subpoenaed. Now, look, Ken Starr was ready to subpoena President Clinton. So it's not that it's crazy or, not possible. But I don't think that Mueller's going to do it. That's where, by the way, the constitutional showdown could occur. Meaning, people say constitutional crisis and they use it in passing. There's not going to be a constitutional crisis unless there's a court order that the president refuses to abide by. And that's what you could see in the context of a subpoena. So with those 2 things in mind, Mueller is going to issue a report, and the question then is going to be, does Rosenstein immediately make it public? Does it get leaked? However that happens. And there's no question in my mind that the president will be very unhappy with the report. And Mueller could, in the context of that report, say that he believes there was obstruction of justice and that that's an impeachable offense. That doesn't mean that Congress will act. And the other question is going to be who else may still get indicted.
And when do you see that report coming out?
I think soon. I think in a month. I think within a month. I wouldn't be surprised if.
But why would Trump, in your estimate, why would he be saying one day that he's willing to possibly sit down with Mueller?
No, he's beyond that. He's saying he wants to do it.
No, exactly. He says he wants to do it, and then other days, Giuliani said he won't do it, and negotiating back and forth. What's the calculation theater-wise?
O.J. Simpson wanted to testify in the criminal case, okay? I really believe that O.J. Simpson wanted to get on the stand.
Why?
Because people believe they will be able to, convince people, etc. So I think Donald Trump truly wanted to sit down with Mueller to explain why he didn't do anything wrong, in his view. But, of course, everyone associated with him knows that they're not just going to ask him that question. There are going to be a lot of other questions. And on some of them, he has given, very contradictory answers. And that's a potential problem. So I don't think it was ever a realistic possibility, no matter who his lawyer was, that he was going to ever be able to do it. But that doesn't mean that he didn't want to testify or didn't want to sit down with Mueller.